Shah, who is a Republican strategist who has been a top advisor for two U.S. presidential campaigns. She is joining me now from Washington, D.C. Rina, it's good to see you. Just want to get your
Hi,
thoughts
Amara.
on how JD Vance is labeling the Harris-Walz ticket as basically a tag team of radicals, like clones of each other.
Well, JD Vance on the tarmac right there was a JD Vance that I have not seen actually in a couple weeks. I saw a bit more energy than usual. I saw him pretty excited and animated to take on Walz. And look, that's a good thing because Trump needed the energy injected into this race. And what JD Vance has been unable to do is get people to turn their heads and say, wow, this is a really interesting pick. Now, today, on the day that we have now learned Kamala Harris's, pick, it's a moment in which we have to wonder, how much does this energize the entire Democratic base? Is this going to make sure that people want to turn out? And I say to that, the answer is yes. Walz has been, for a couple weeks now, seeming to be the darling of the progressive left. And that youth vote, that Gen Z vote that put Biden-Harris in the White House in 2020 is energized by Walz. So I think this was not only a good strategic pick on Harris's part, but I do think this is the one that is most principled for her. She had to go with the person she feels most comfortable with, because presumably this is going to be the person she trusts the most and is going to be by her side for the next 4 years.
How do you think this contrast between JD Vance and Governor Tim Walz is going to be portrayed and play out, given that these two men are both from the Midwest?
Amara, I am very much a pragmatist. And look, no part of me has ever been progressive in my policy views. But I must say, this is a moment that highlights how important people are, not policies are. In Governor Walz, coming from what I consider still very purple Minnesota, where Republicans there are also pretty pragmatic, pretty centrist in many ways, he is somebody that decided just last year to sign into law a universal free lunch for Minnesotan kids. He understands that making America great means investing in our future generation. There should not be a single child hungry within these United States. As far as I'm concerned, there shouldn't be a single American hungry. When we have trillions of dollars to send overseas for war, we should be taking care of our own. There should not be veterans sleeping in the streets. And Walz, by that swipe of his pen, saying that I'm going to feed hungry kids, I have goosebumps because I, as a mother, can relate to that. And I believe that is the future. When you look at a person and peel back the veneer, he's not just a progressive to me. He's a human. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more human moments. JD Vance has not been able to show that. And I think that's why it highlights a deficiency on the Trump-Vance campaign part, because you need to be able to talk to people, meet them where they are, address their concerns about the future. So yes, Kamala Harris in the 16 days hasn't put out as much policy as I or others would have liked, but she still has time to do that. Let's not forget how heavy this moment has been for her the past 2 weeks, having to not just become the presumptive nominee, grab that mantle, do it well, which I believe she has, but to show people she sees the future. And I think by picking Walz, she did that. I do believe, though, I want to add this, that Senator Kelly would have been a fine pick and Governor Shapiro would have been a fine pick. But the final part to understand is that she was strategic in this pick because she understands, given recent history, that your running mate does not have to come from a swing state in order for you to win the White House. Look at Speaker Paul Ryan, who was Mitt Romney's running mate from Wisconsin. Look at Tim Kaine from Virginia, who was Hillary Clinton's running mate. Neither of those tickets were successful. Kamala Harris understood that she needs to meet the moment, and that's why she picked Walz.
Okay, interesting. So then do you think that the Trump campaign is breathing a sigh of relief that it wasn't the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro, or do you think they're nervous now that they see in Tim Walz a formidable opponent?
Well, the first thing I heard JD Vance just say on the tarmac this morning was that Kamala Harris didn't allow for the border wall to be finished. No, it was Trump who didn't finish the border wall when he had a chance to do that while he was in office. So that's one ding there at this campaign, the Trump-Vance campaign. Another is by labeling the progressive left, Gen Z, those who are a little bit more left again in the Democrat Party, as the Hamas wing. All I've heard is people saying, hey, we ought to re-examine our relationship with Israel. We ought to be careful where our dollars are going when we're getting streaming images daily, sometimes hourly, out of Gaza. We are hearing this kind of rhetoric from the Trump-Vance campaign because they're scared. And the final thing I heard Vance use was the word prosecute the case. That's interesting because neither he or Trump are attorneys, last I checked, not practicing ones at least, but Kamala Harris was a prosecutor. So I thought it was very interesting of Vance to say that he and Trump are going to be out there prosecuting the case. What case are they going to prosecute? I think they're still scared because they understand Walz has the ability to get to Midwestern voters, centrist voters, and those who are even right of center because he seems quite pragmatic in some of his policy stances.
Fascinating viewpoint. Really appreciate having you, Rina Shah. Thank you.
Thank you.